Hi, good morning. My name is Cassandra Munoz. I'm going to be playing the part of both student nurse and the patient since I don't have another individual with me at the house to pretend to be my patient. And this will be my Glasgow coma scale. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is assess my patient and introduce myself right when I walk in. And then I also want to make sure that they're not wearing any hearing aids that can impair the assessment prior to me performing any type of action during my assessment. So what I'm looking for when it comes to the patient's eyes is, do they spontaneously just open to voice, or by getting a pen or another tool, we can just glide over the nail bed just like this while adding pressure. And not too much pressure to where it hurts, but also not too light to where the patient won't feel it. So about 10-second hold right there. If their eyes just spontaneously open right when you walk in, then that's considered a number 4 that you want to jot down. If it's to sound after you introduce yourself, that would be a 3. And then to pressure, it would be a 2. And then if it's none, you just want to put 1. The next thing I'm going to assess my patient on is verbal responsiveness. If for some reason their eyes are unable to be tested, we have to put not testable. And that usually happens if there's too much trauma around the eyes, or if they suffered a wasp attack that they're unable to even undergo this type of assessment. So we don't want to put 0, we just want to put not testable, and I think that's very important as a nurse to know. For the next assessment, it's going to be verbal responsiveness, so I'm going to go ahead and check out my patient. But before I do that, I spoke about not testable before, and things that would put a patient as not testable is if they have a tube down their throat. You cannot check for the verbal responsiveness until that is out. Things I'm looking for during my assessment is I will begin a normal neuro assessment by asking oriented questions as what is their name, do they know where they are, can they tell me what day it is, stuff like that. And if they can answer me, we can number that as a 5. And for 4 would be if they respond anything but answering the questions, but they're complete sentences like, what am I doing here, or who are you, stuff like that, but they're able to say some form of complete sentence. So you want to write that down as a 4. Up next is a rating of 3, and this would consist of probably like cussing words or just very incoherent words that are spoken towards you, and they don't really make any sense, but they're still words, they're still able to formulate them, so that would be considered a 3. The next thing is if they do not respond verbally, but they're making possibly like groaning sounds, moaning sounds, which would sound like this, and that would be rated as a number 2 on the Glasgow coma scale. And of course, if it is none, then we want to rate it as just a 1, never 0 on the Glasgow coma scale. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do for the Glasgow coma scale is to check their motor responses. This will consist of obeying commands, localizing normal flexion, abnormal flexion, extension, and none. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So if our patient is paralyzed, this would mean that they're also NT, which is also not testable. We cannot check the reflexes because they're unable to do so. assessment, you want to total up the numbers, and depending on the scale, do they fall under mild, do they fall under moderate, or severe? Severe would be something like a severe brain injury that's been impacted to the patient. Okay, my name is Cassandra Munoz, and that completes my Glasgow coma scale. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you. Bye.